we're going to do something a little funky, a little fresh, a little new today. Okay? We are going to be filming the Therapy Unlocked confessionals. You know, you ever watch Big Brother?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how the residents of Big Brother, they go into separate rooms where no one can hear them and they answer a set of questions?
Mm-hmm.
I have a set of questions for us.
Fun.
So she's going to answer a question. She is my beautiful, brilliant, and highly decorated co-host, certified therapist, Katrina Mondragon. And I am your unqualified opinion, Emily, and we are going to be giving you both sides of each of these. So we are Therapy Unlocked. We unlock the mind one conversation at a time. And today we're going to be doing Therapy Unlocked confessionals. So let's go. We'll take it away.
Quick disclaimer, though. I'm a professional, not y'all's professional, so everything we're going to talk about is not to be taken as medical, legal, or as advice. Throwing that out there.
I mean, she doesn't want you to take it as medical, legal, or otherwise advice. Personally, I hope we develop a cult following that does everything I say. But regardless.
Let's do it. All right, let's look at these questions. So, why I chose mental health on my career path was basically because I found the mind-body connection absolutely fascinating at such a young age. And I remember being in like 5th grade, and they put me in this peer mediation program where it was basically like whenever there was a problem, the peers in my grade would come to me first before going to the teacher with the issue. And if we could resolve it at a peer level, then there was no reason to take it to the teacher. So on the one hand, I got all the tea. And on the other hand, I got to help people out. And then I also got to learn a little bit about interpersonal relationships at that time. So that's really why I chose mental health on my career path, is that mind-body connection.
Mental health is on my career path because I'm insane. No, a little bit. I've always wanted to know why and how and for what reason people do the things that they do, you know? So that naturally led me to read and research, and then my lucky stars giving me a super qualified, therapeutically intelligent sister did nothing but like aid in that process, you know? So mental health is on my career path because it's kind of my life path. I enjoy reading about it. I enjoy learning about it. I enjoy talking about it. I think that the human mind will remain interesting for the rest of my life.
My least favorite topic. I don't know that there is one because there is no such thing as TMI in therapy, but a least favorite topic that I have just colloquially talking amongst friends, I would say has to be around bowel movements. But I wouldn't say that that's an off-limit thing in therapy, because I've heard of people having upset stomachs before they come into session, and that's something that's relevant to anxiety, believe it or not. So that would be my least favorite topic in just a general setting, but not off-limits in the therapy.
My least favorite topic of all of the episodes that we've done so far on Therapy Unlocked was the first time that we talked about AI or artificial intelligence, or using artificial intelligence for tools and to further our life and that kind of thing. Because given less than a year later, and I feel so differently about AI, you know, I feel like it's a little bit dangerous, and it worries me sometimes. So if I could strike a topic I talked about, it might have been that first time I talked about it, but I'm very glad that we went back, discussed it again, and just came up with kind of a better way to keep yourself from getting caught in a confirmation loop or something like that.
My co-host, I think I would describe her as gregarious, loquacious, resilient, and independent. And those are very big words, but basically she's talkative, she's outgoing, she's unique in a way that it enhances the quality of life of those around her.
I can describe my co-host. She's incredibly qualified. She's incredibly brilliant. She is the savior of my family, but that's a little personal. But as a co-host, she's just a continual source of information. And part of why I enjoy doing this is because I think it demystifies what it feels like to go to therapy. It isn't therapy. but we discuss therapy, and she'll sit there and explain that she does not pathologize something that might keep someone from going through that door. And I think the secret to making the world a better place is literally making the world a better place. The work has to be done. And if someone's afraid to do the work, I don't know that they will. And if anybody has ever reassured me in my life, it would be my sister. So if she reassures me, then I think she's more than capable of reassuring the masses. And yeah, that's how I would describe her, as a continual source of, comfort and reassurance.
What motivates me to continue this podcast, having started it in 2021 and then adding on a co-host in 2025, what's really made me persist and continue and motivate is that it's fun. It's fucking fun. It's fun to create. It's fun to edit. It's fun to put out there, and it's fun to see the views, regardless of how many there are, or how few there are, or how many there are, which, by the way, thanks for the thousands and thousands of views, guys.
What motivates me to do the podcast? What I already said. Brilliant and beautiful sister of mine, qualified co-host, the way that she is literally making the world a better place. Also, I've said previously on the podcast, I'm sure everyone has heard me say, that I'd like to be famous. I want to sell out. Someone purchase my likeness or something. Syndicate us. Those are big, huge dreams, probably better reserved for a time when we have had more success. But if you don't dare to dream it, it's never going to happen. So I have always been of the opinion that the most fun someone can have is a performance or something public speaking related. And my motivation to continue this is because I believe in the idea of unlocking the mind, of demystifying the process of therapy. And I am also motivated by the fact that people respond to us and sometimes even let us know that we've helped out.
Therapists can be judgmental. Not all therapists are judgmental, and not all judgment is bad. I would say that in terms of, are they judging what you're wearing? No. Are they checking if you're disheveled or kempt? Yes. Those make a difference in the observations that they make. And so judgmental in terms of perceiving you. So you are going to be perceived if you go to therapy. If you don't want to be perceived, that's kind of hard to do in any relationship because it's a human condition to be seen. But as far as perceiving negatively, judgmental in a negative connotation, I think there's a lot of humans out there who we think in our head, is somebody looking at me at the grocery store, and maybe they're not. Maybe they're looking at the sign above our head.
Therapists are the most judgmental people I have ever encountered in my life. That's why they're good at their job. Truly and completely, I do believe that therapists are judgmental because they need to be judgmental. I think that there are times in our lives that we need to be judged so that we can find the root cause of the thing that is bothering us. So I think that therapists are extremely judgmental. I think that is a strength and not a weakness. And it is one of the few times that I am seeking a judgmental to tell me what I am comprised of, so to speak.
I don't think that there are mental health conditions that cannot be helped. I think there are people who do not want to be helped sometimes, and that can be a hindrance towards recovery, and that recovery is dependent on everybody's situation. So not all healing is linear, if that makes sense. So if you have a condition such as just grief, that's a mental health condition, right? It's not anger, bargaining, denial, acceptance, and depression in that order. It actually can go in any which order, and there's more than 5. I heard that can be different feelings mixed up like a salad. But as far as not being able to be helped, no, I think there's willfulness sometimes that hinders things that can be therapy interfering behaviors, but not necessarily a particular condition that cannot be helped. That's a myth, I would think, a myth about therapy.
There are absolutely mental health conditions that, in my personal opinion, cannot be helped. Keep in mind that I am unqualified, and this is one woman's opinion. So excuse me if I am not exactly politically correct about this one, but if there's an individual who chooses not to seek help, then they cannot be helped, period. So, whether they happen to have depression, anxiety, or any other alphabet soup in the DSM-5, if they don't want it, we cannot help them. No one can help them. And that would be when I would pull the card that says, you cannot be helped with this one.
I think somebody might really be afraid to start therapy because it is a big change. To decide to change oneself is to look at oneself in a mirror, and that therapist might hold up a mirror and you may or may not like what you see, and that fear is valid. I say have that fear and go anyway.
I think that most fear of therapy comes from the fact that the brain prefers that familiar hell over the unfamiliar heaven. I think it also stems from a large scale, maybe even generational trauma of feeling that you can't or don't deserve to be fixed. No one needs to be fixed because they are not broken. And the goal of going to therapy and healing isn't to become who you were before, but a different version of yourself now that you are content with. So I think if you have that fear, that's good information to have. And I do think that most of it is based on a cognitive distortion.
3 things that I'd like in a bag if I was stuck in an elevator would definitely be something to pee in, something to eat if I'm there too long, and a phone to call for help because I don't want to be stuck in there past the length of the cup and the fluid. So
if I were stuck in an elevator, I'm going to want a phone because I'm going to want to call for help. I'm going to want a fully charged Kindle with an entire library because I might not call for help for a few hours. That kind of sounds peaceful. And I'd want to read for a little while. And then I would want some chocolate, preferably with almonds in it, because I be getting hungry sometimes.
Okay, what is one thing you wish you could tell your clients? One thing I wish I could tell my clients, I don't know that there is something that would be outside of the realm that would be not said and therapeutically helpful. I do try to say the things that would be therapeutically relevant and helpful to clients. One thing that I do mention to folks sometimes is like, I think about you outside a session. And so that's something I wish people would maybe know more about. And therapists in general, we do care. Like we actually give a shit and think about you outside of our sessions. So it's not all about the money.
I wish that I could tell all of my past therapists that I have narcolepsy, which is not something I hold against any clinician I've ever dealt with because I myself did not know that I had narcolepsy. But I was misdiagnosed because narcolepsy masquerades as several different mental health conditions if you don't have the full picture. So if I could go back in time and I could talk to my past therapist, maybe even just as friends, I would want to share that with them and tell them, every once in a while you hear hoofbeats and you automatically think that there is a horse coming, but it turns out that that is a zebra. So I feel like that would be great information for all of my past therapists to have, and maybe even just for any clinician to have.
If I were to have a dream guest on my podcast, it would definitely have to be Whitney Cummings. I read her book. I've listened to her stand up. She's controversial for sure. And she's also lived a year with hair that's bright pink. So I think that would be an interesting character, an individual to have on the podcast.
Dream guest on my podcast. That was a JoJo Siwa impersonation. Dream guest on my podcast. I'm going to take a really hot take on this one. And I would say I would love to host an completely raw and uncensored podcast episode with all of my friends' inadequate mothers. Yeah, I have things I'd love to say, and I feel like the public would enjoy watching it. So I suppose my dream guest would be blank blank's mom. I'm just saying. That was hilarious. Because when I said least favorite topic, I meant least favorite topic that we had discussed. And she just thought I meant least favorite topic. But if it was just least favorite topic ever, agreed.
Go watch it.
Agreed. No bathroom humor.
Just give it away.
Well, I mean, they can go watch it. That's what I didn't use the word. Because ew. Because ew.
See you next time on Therapy Unlocked.